Heartiest welcome to Global Talk Show by Business Power Academy, Netherlands. And today in this particular episode, we have an amazing, dynamic, gorgeous, and whatnot from the beautiful country, beautiful Shirley Chow. Welcome, Shirley, to our show today, and it's been a great privilege hosting you.
Hi, everyone. And Dr. Supriya, such an honor and great pleasure and excitement. I've been expecting this since we met a couple of months ago, right? In a Breaking the Ice talk, I was hosting, and you were one of the fabulous guests. And I am so glad to be here tonight.
Well, it's all my pleasure, Shirley. And everybody is waiting eagerly, especially this episode of Global Talk Show, because we are going to have a number of key takeaways with lot and powerful messages. And of course, we are going to get a lot of enthusiasm from Shirley's life, and that is going to be boon in everybody's life. So without taking any pause, and my global audience are eagerly waiting for this episode, because when I launched this flyer, people were saying, hey, what's time? What is the time? So when we can watch this, and how can we take the replay? And I was amazed, Shirley. So without taking any more delay, let's start this fabulous journey, Global Talk Show with Shirley. Shirley, straight away, I am coming to your incredible life journey, because the place where you are at such a great height of success, where every woman wants to be. So kindly enlighten your beautiful journey with me and my beautiful global audience.
Well, thank you. My journey is a very windy one. And at the beginning, I just started out like, I guess most of your guests and most of the audience, as a rather fortunate and blessed child, growing up in a pretty normal and safe household. I had an older brother and a younger sister, and my father was a civil servant. So we weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. So the first 10 years, I was a very vivacious and tomboyish, full of life, full of adventure, very curious kind of girl. But then, you know how life sometimes just throws you a big lemon. And at the age of 10, my big lemon came in the form of my mother suddenly passing away due to a sudden illness. It was but diabetes at the beginning, but then later on it evolved into some kind of complication. And what was really life-changing at the time wasn't the death of a parent necessarily, as those of us who are into mental health, we understand that challenges in life, sometimes even traumas in life, we cannot avoid them. But it is our inability to handle the grief, right, and to process all the emotional challenges that become the real problem. And in my case, I remember vividly, Supriya, I was already quite musically inclined, starting at age 7. And so what happened was, at my mom's funeral, when I saw the image of her body, I really started experiencing PTSD, because to me, that image of her dead body, that cold stone body. And then later on, I remember going to the crematorium and seeing pictures of other people who are deceased, and seeing a child, the picture of a child, I just couldn't process that. And so, long story short, I started getting very sick. My body turned that grief and that withheld anger into a 7-year-long rage of autoimmune disease in the form of hives. And it was relentless, it was severe, it was hot, it was burning all the time. And so you can imagine, from the age of 10 to 17, that is like your entire adolescence, right? So not only did I start having that kind of a trauma, that kind of illness nonstop, there was no cure for it. And I also started having sleeping problems. And I started writing about dying young because everyone was like, oh my God, your mom was only 33. My God, what a shame. And I started glorifying dying young. And so long story short, I was very lucky at the time, maybe because my mom was already looking from above, right? Looking after me from her dimension. She sent me two music teachers. And these two music teachers, they started calling me after school. Now, that was very unusual back in those days. We're talking about years, decades ago. When teachers went home, they went home. But these two teachers would take turn and talk to me after their work hours, sometimes for a whole hour. And this is before cell phones, right? With the headphones and you had to literally hold on to the physical phone. So my elbow would be sore after talking to them. But because they gave me opportunities, they trained me to be a conductor. I also, because I inherited my father's genes, he was a great manager working for the housing department. So I started getting much older kids in high school to collaborate with me. We started doing chamber music. I started coaching them. And at the same time, I also coached my fellow friends to start elocution and storytelling. So I found my own voice and my meaning on stage. So that became a very natural path to me. I just really didn't see anything else. I did my best as an overachiever because that is a very good way to mask the pain, right? I tried to achieve, and I did a lot of things, studied well. I got into college as a music major. I even got myself a scholarship after I graduated with first honors. I got myself a full scholarship to study accompanying at the Cincinnati Conservatory in the US. And I stayed there after I graduated with my master's. And if you know anything about this kind of a sudden absence of a parent, I was told when I went through psychotherapy during my divorce that my childhood didn't actually end. I was kind of at the ending stage of my childhood, and then abruptly I had to become an adult. I wasn't really very close to my daddy during that whole ordeal. But anyway, I needed someone to finish the job of my mother very desperately. So I fell in love with the first guy I ever dated, and he was a very kind, very intelligent man. But what was missing, I didn't know at the time. We were very codependent. So, in other words, my story for the first 33 years of my life was losing love and then trying to find love. The first love was the love of music, the love of self-expression, the love of actually letting all my emotions hang out, but only in the form of musical vibration. Right. And then in my private life, I held on to the first person who ever showed me any kind of closeness, of emotional closeness. We can be so close to people, right, physically, but we can be miles away, stone cold, when people are indifferent or they're closed off, right? When they stonewall, when they're emotionally unavailable or even dysfunctional. So because the relationship, the marriage was based on codependency and also me being so vulnerable and so needing to be loved. So what happened was he did a great job nurturing me as a great husband. But then I grew up because when I married him, I was only 24. I wasn't really letting myself discover who I was as an adult or as a woman. So what was amazingly unbelievable to me at the time is I started seeing the same kind of problems that my mom encountered with my dad, and also all the other dysfunctional marriages I have witnessed in my life, right? And I started playing them out with my own marriage. So what happened was eventually I got lucky. I guess I say I got lucky because I managed to get out of my dysfunctional marriage after of 8 years. The relationship was 10. And what I discovered in that whole process of the divorce and then going to psychotherapy was that, wait, I need to love myself first. I need to know who I am first, right? And that to me was like such a foreign idea. I think part of it also has to do with the fact that even though I'm very Western minded, somehow my environment when I grew up was very traditional. It was very Chinese. So there was always, I don't know if you echo with me or your audience does, as a woman, unless we grow up, I remember vividly you telling me how encouraging your mom is, right? Really ingraining these ideas into
Yes.
you, young child, that you can achieve anything and you are smart. And I didn't have that. I was being told, as long as you remain docile, you're soft-spoken, just smart enough, but not too smart, and you play your role and be nice and sweet, then a nice husband is going to take care of you. All that was very subliminal. Okay. So I didn't have someone or both the mommy or the daddy telling me, oh my God, you're so smart. You can achieve anything. The world is, your oyster. The sky is the limit. I didn't have those thoughts, right? Basically, my entire life was because I so happen to be so lucky to be so adventurous in nature, so curious in nature. So I dared to find things out on my own. I dared to go after what I wanted. But anyway, after 3 years of psychotherapy and a long journey of obsession over, wait, why would my childhood affect me in such profound ways? Because on the surface, right, intellectually, I was fine. With my career, I'm sure a lot of women out there can echo, right? Can resonate with me. Particularly now we know that a lot of women chose to be single, and a lot of them have gone through maybe the first 3-4 decades, even 5 decades, without having actually giving birth or having gone through significant romantic relationships. So if we don't know how we can be whole, how we can be happy, and really have a strong life purpose guiding us, then we can actually easily subject ourselves to some emotional damage, and also just really not feeling like we are somehow worthy enough for love. So that kind of encapsulates the first, I would say, 4 decades of my life, really just finding out from many different kinds of dysfunctional romantic relationships, and also recovering, right? And really holding on to this whole lifelong learning theme. That is, what we learn from the books, from university or whatever, from our profession, that's only one little facet of our diamond. Our diamond of life, our whole mosaic of life is so many facets. And our emotional psyche, our human psyche is so complex and so full of possibilities. So if we learn to choose to be optimistic, and we learn to find what really sparks that fire within us, then even when life gets very challenging, we are going to have somehow the solutions figured out. So in 2007, I think I was like already doing like professional opera, because in the first big half of my life, I was an opera coach in the US, and also I do some summer programs in Europe. But after my divorce, I was able to go to different parts of the world, different parts of the US to be, coach and pianist, and also some young artist program managers for different opera companies. And then in 2007, somehow I had laid down this idea of being a general manager of an arts program so that I can help find funding and help manage young artists. And instead of just always playing at the pit, behind the keyboard. So I laid that seed and it turned out to mature within a year. And so I went back to Hong Kong and I started managing a very big performing arts center for children for 11 years. And I grew the program from 700 people, students, to about 1,300 students. And so because of this 11-year experience, I actually got in touch and mentored over 100,000 kids aged between 5 to 18. And also, the term, the derogatory term of dragon moms. I dealt with so many dragon moms or dragon dads. And I was very thankful for that whole duration of time, because not only was I able to really dig deep down to see what kind of abilities, managerial or leadership abilities that my daddy had given me, I had also discovered so many of the problems, emotional problems, like hypervigilance, right? Like this dysregulation, emotional dysregulation. Some kids experience such obvious social anxiety, for example. And of course, there was a lot of bullying and also a lot of self-damage, image problems, right? Self-shaming and even self-harming. I was so grateful that so many kids showed me that they are also struggling. So in 2018, what happened was, finally, I decided that just being a performer or an arts program director wouldn't allow me to really help those children. So I took a big punch in my life, and it was very scary at the time because I was already 49. Okay, so that was a few years ago. I decided to quit the job and started my own entrepreneurship. And that's why you see how now I have Wing Resilience Success Coaching, and I upskilled myself. I knew that social emotional intelligence would be a big piece of the solution, not only for myself, for the parents, but also for the children, teenagers, for teachers, for educators. And it's going to be a very important key component for 2030 and 2040 for all the new job disruptions, right? Social capital would be significant. So I upskilled myself as a social emotional intelligence coach. And I also found Jack Canfield, a #1 success coach in America, and studied his success principles system and have become his trainer. So that is basically, in a nutshell, what I've experienced professionally, also as a human being, I think. And that is to turn all the challenges in my life, all the upsets and the heartbreaks in my life into fuel to inform, to share with all the children and teenagers I care so very much about, so that they know when things go wrong in their lives, and things will go wrong in their lives, they don't have to be afraid. They have tools.
Shirley, I am shocked, I'm surprised, and I'm speechless. When you were narrating your life journey, I mean, before 15 minutes meeting you, I was just thinking your life will be hip hop and where you are at the side of success, all glowing things. But when you started losing your mother at such an early age, I can't believe this, because yes, like every daughter, you had so many dreams to, as you said, like mother support, mother says, yes, everything is fine. That moment you feel, yes, everything is fine. But I must say only one thing. Hats off to your courage, hats off to your determination, because this is not at all easy to move forward when you will have emotional breakage. And that's what I can say, Shirley. Today, I am hosting the most strongest women of this universe, really. Trust me, because the journey which you have told, losing a mom, then heartbreakage, then moving to a dysfunctional marriage, and then you came out of that and you went for your coaching, is not, I mean, if anybody was there at your place, they would have given up. But you showed only one thing. And I'm remembering one quote from your life. People will shake you, rate you, hate you, and break you. But it's you who makes you. Shirley is so inspiring. And today, your life journey has touched millions of people who are watching us live and who are going to watch this video live. So hats off to your courage, determination. I really appreciate this. And I'm sure all the women, especially our feminine leaders who have given up on their life and they have lost that loving yourself is the first prerequisite of every woman. We women are continuously sacrificing in every form, as a mother, wife, teacher, mentor, whatever you are. But still, you have to love yourself. You have to know your worth. And after knowing that, you can love others. So Shirley, thank you so very much for this beautiful answering. And I am sure you have energized the whole system today, all the people, and you have lit the spark in everybody's life. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just really want to use this opportunity tonight to highlight three things. Yeah. Number one is, like earlier I was mentioning, and I remember this about my grandmother. She lived to be, I think she was in her late 70s. And what I learned from her before I left Hong Kong, after my mother passed away, she unwillingly agreed to my father to stay with us, live with us, to take care of me and my siblings. But what I learned from her, she was another very tough, respectable woman. She belonged to the period when Chinese women's feet, you know how their feet were bound into little tiny, whatever you call them, right? These little shoes, at the turn of the century. She was one of the last women who had to have their feet bound, okay? And she went through 2 world wars, and she went through the Chinese Civil War, and she came to Hong Kong. She's one of those really tough cookies. And I remember vividly watching her in her last 10 years of life, so to speak, surrounded by many, she had sons, she had grandsons, right? There were 9 grandsons and daughters and all these relatives. But she was lonely. She was very lonely. She had money, she had company, but she was lonely. And she had to fight her last battle of cancer pretty much on her own emotionally. And so I was there to do as much as I could to give her that emotional support. And so when I went through my own divorce, very much on my own, and later on, basically all the different professional journeys that I had forged, every time I moved to a different part of the world or different city in the US, I was always there by myself first. But it was really the luck of having my father's gene and also a lifelong fascination with people. Sometimes you hear some coworkers, right, or neighbors or strangers, and they're always complaining about their neighbors or whatever. Well, in my case, I had the opposite end of the stick. I'm always fascinated about how people interact and why people think the way they do, what is behind every, human behavior and their motivation. And so even though I inherited my mother's pessimism, somehow my dad's social intelligence or his love of people, right, or people skills kind of made up somehow to tip that balance, so that even when I'm the most pessimistic, or when I didn't see the hope, when I couldn't smile on my own, I was able to draw the energy or the happiness or optimism from the people surrounding me. So this is one thing I want to bring to the audience, and that is, yes, maybe right now, whether it's at work or at home, you may feel like nobody can hear you or see you or understand you. But if you remember, if you have the will, you will find a way. There is always a sister. There is always an elder, or maybe another brother, maybe another uncle. There's always someone around you who is more optimistic than you are, who has gone through what you've gone through, right? Who has 10 hearts packed in one little body. All you have to do is manifest that into your life. That's why you see in my backdrop, right now, my life mission is to help 1 million women and teens and children to boost their confidence, this confidence not only in themselves, in humanity, but also in faith itself, yeah? And to have joy, find joy, because that is the number one fuel that will keep the fire of your life burning when everything around you is dark. And then remember bliss. Bliss is that feeling, that knowing that you are okay, that every breath you take, right, as long as you're healthy and you're still hoping and you're still going after your goals, you are already in bliss. So if we choose to learn how to manifest the things we want in our lives, things will happen for you. My life is a perfect example of that. Because I want to say my second point, if I can continue, is that when I started my entrepreneurship, I had no money, I had no support, I had no business know-how, didn't have a business plan, still don't. I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. However, I just had a vision. Seriously, for 1 year, my friend, every night before I went to bed and closed my eyes, I pray to the universe, just show me how to serve. I sat there for a year. Every night I went to bed. And then I made sure that I closed my eyes with a smile. So I would, sometimes watch some comedy, right? Or listen to my favorite song. And the last few months, my obsessions have been animal and baby videos. I'll just watch a few baby videos or animal videos, get a laugh, and then I'll close my eyes. Wow. And then for a year after that, the minute in 2018, I left my job, resigned in August. In November, 3 months after, knowing close to nobody, only being a musician all my life, I got invited to speak in LA for the first time in my life on the stage of the Women Economic Forum.
Wow, super.
3 months. 5 months after I resigned, I got my first invitation to write a compilation book with 34 other life-changing women. And 9 months after I resigned, my first Amazon bestseller book signing happened in San Francisco.
Awesome. Awesome, Shirley.
So the number 3 point is, as long as we keep learning about ourselves and new skills and keep manifesting, you are going to see how you will engage with new realities. Engage. You will see how you will evolve. And as long as you keep exploring, your life will evolve into ways that you cannot even imagine. So that's my 3 points altogether.
Awesome. I mean, every answer is reflecting some great messages. And surely I do believe where there's a will, there is a way. You will find the way. And that's what we can see from your life journey, because in every turn of your life journey, I'm seeing there was some obstacles, this in some or other form, but you had never given up. And I love when you said closing eyes at night and asking the universe. So that's marvelous one. And here I will request all my global talk show audience, if you are ever low in your life, if you ever feel demotivated or there's no way, always remember there's always a silver lining in every dark clouds. And that's what we can feel, we can see from Shirley's journey. So thank you so much, Shirley, for enlightening, everybody's life today. And I'm sure people who are getting demotivated, sometimes I also get demotivated. I'm going to remember this episode and I'm going to watch and I'm going to refuel my energy with so many great enthusiasm. Thank you so much, Shirley. Well, moving to this beautiful, inspiring, motivating journey with Shirley, I am going to ask about now your beautiful background that says Wing Resilience Success Coaching. So kindly enlighten your great work, and people would love to know that, and people would love to connect with you.
Great, thank you. With Wing Resilience, what I offer are three kinds of coaching or training programs. The first one that I'm most proud of and most passionate about is what I call the Life CEO 10-module course. And basically, it's based on Jack Canfield's success principles, but it's also infused. I don't know if you can see this. It's the Confidence Code. It's a very famous book written by Katie Kay and Claire Shipman. And it really focuses on the unique challenges that we women or girls have because of our genetic makeup, our hormonal makeup, and all that. So Life CEO is a course that anybody can take online, but it is actually a live class. And so within the 10 modules, they can discover how they can completely re-engineer the life of their dreams, step by step. There are just so many examples. The last time I opened this class was last November. And there was this girl who was bullied at work. She had suffered a spinal injury and had to quit work for 9 months. And she paid so much money in rehab. But basically, she had a very big phobia about her boss. And so after the course, her degree of fear has basically diminished by 70%. And not only that, she was able to focus on her new dream of becoming a baker. And within 4 months of our coursework, she has actually landed her dream job, which she started at the end of June. So now she's becoming a baker. And she knows she had all the tools that she can use for the rest of her life, both for her romantic journey and also for her career journey in handling any stress that comes her way. So I'm very, very passionate about this cause. It's called Life CEO, so that I think we need to be our own CEO, our life CEO before we can, manage anything else, right? Exactly. And another way that I can coach women or teens is through a speaking or communication course. So this communication course talks a lot about body language, talks a lot about personal style, what your voice represents, how it sounds, how it rings, the kind of modulations and degree of expressions that you can play with. Now, most people, I think you are also trained as a performer, am I right?
Yes.
So you and I are very comfortable. We know the range of expression and we know when to be funny, when to be serious, and how to hold attention with our gazes, how to look at people or sometimes look away, right? And also we know how to cadence our voices and how to play with the tempo of our voices. But most people do not have these tools or the experience. So earlier in the summer, not summer, actually in spring, I was training a young entrepreneur. She was doing a competition to get funding. And before she came to me, she had this 10-minute pitch. It was fact, 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 fact. It was very left-brained. And it is hard, right? You know how those pitch, they go by so fast, and you're so nervous. You try to make sure people know the value of, you know, your protocol, your prototype or whatever it is. So it wasn't very emotionally effective. And it wasn't very much impressing on the listener who this person really is. And so after I worked with her, even though her project didn't get the funding, but she got a presentation award, best presentation award. And at least when she was, you know, talking to her audience, she was walking a little bit. She was able to change, you know, her perspective, her angle, and there were a lot more cadences in her voice. So to the audience, she was at least 3 times more confident, right? So that is another kind of training. And I usually do that either through a project you have on hand, or also for younger kids, it can be a competition like elocution or storytelling. Yeah, and the third thing I do is a very easy test, and it's America's most trusted social emotional intelligence test. Now that one is very easy and it's very comprehensive. It would tell you at the end of 40 minutes of answering questions that you answer online, the 26 essential 2030 skills you must have and the level of competency that you have. For example, how optimistic are you? How creative are you? How effective you are in interpersonal relationships, whether you are a good team player, whether you have effective communication, whether you manage your emotions well, or you are a great conflict management guy, or whether you stress manage poorly. So the 26 different skills are rated, and then the report is 40 pages long. It's very comprehensive.
Awesome. Awesome, Shirley. And here I will take one big pause for people to get through life CEO. And global audience, don't miss this golden opportunity, because opportunity once knocks the door. So kindly contact Shirley. She's going to help you in becoming your best version of your life, in becoming the life CEO, and voice modulation, your communication skills, your effective communication plays a vital role in your career. So while you're waiting for, kindly contact Shirley after this show, and she is going to take you a new ride of your great journey. And I'm sure people are not going to miss this opportunity. So thank you, Shirley, for giving this, leveraging everyone from your great coaching. And I would say only one thing: bring resilience, success coaching, go grab it and make your life wonderful. Awesome one. Well, Shirley, before we end, because time is telling us to say goodbye, but we are not going to say goodbye. We are going to listen from you. And this is the part which I was eagerly waiting. So kindly tell about that surprise, Shirley. Yes, global audience, get ready for an amazing surprise.
Okay, you're so sweet. I love your energy, really. I really do. Now, those who want to contact me, obviously you can look me up on LinkedIn or just scan this code. This is my WhatsApp. I'm about to share a song that is so dear and near to me, to my heart. This is my anthem. And a few years ago, when I organized a fundraising concert to promote mental health for women, this is my theme song, or was my theme song. This is from Define Gravity, from the show Wicked. And I'm just going to go through a couple of verses, and I hope that you listen to the lyrics very carefully, because it really shows us that we are worth all the love in the world. And we don't have to accept limits. And as long as we defy our own gravity, we can achieve anything. So here it goes. I'm through accepting limits, cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. Well, if there's love, it comes at much too high a cost. I sooner defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity, and you won't bring me down. So if you can't fall me to the western sky, as someone told me lately, one deserves the chance to fly. I'm defying, I'm flying, defying gravity, and you can't bring me down. Whoa. So something like that.
Wow, awesome. And gravity, when you said everybody's getting, in a gravitational pull towards you, Shirley, with your beautiful, melodious, and heart-touching voice. So God bless you, and God gives you a lot of health, wealth, and beautiful things which you are spreading to the world, and you are doing a wonderful thing for the society and for the humanity. So I congratulate you. I give you a lot of wishes for your future, for your work, and the beautiful thing which you are doing for the great human society. Thank you so much for coming to our show and enlightening everybody's, whether it will be India or America, their day, nights, and evening, you fill with happiness. So keep radiating your positivity. Shirley, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, my global audience, for always loving us constantly and consistently. Keep doing that. Stay happy. Hail and hearty. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.